Okay, welcome everyone. Hello, Masternodes. I have put together a little proposal and wanted to do a slideshow so that it was a little easier to digest. This is my first time doing one of these screencasts, I guess is what they're called. So I'm not very good at this, but hopefully it will be okay. I've got my friend Rachel here with me,
Hi.
and we will both be coming down to Arizona on Thursday for the open house. So looking forward to seeing you all there, whoever's coming. But yeah, this is a little proposal that I wanted to run by the community to see what the thoughts are about it. It is called community stipends, and I need to do something really quick here. Float on top so that my screen doesn't go away. So just to give a brief summary of what this is all about. This proposal would provide off-Treasury stipends for community members to start and maintain small-scale projects. So, what does that mean? I'll give you a little background, and to do that, I will tell a little tale of two Dash users. So, we'll name one Connie, the community contributor, and Matt, the masternode operator. So Connie is active in her local community. She's a really big Dash fan. She loves the idea of it, and so much that she's basically unable to concentrate on her job, like her normal day job, and because she just can't stop thinking about how great Dash is and what all the potential is. And so she starts running meetups or, you know, doing little video blogs about, Dash and just generally spending quite a bit of time doing this. But she realizes that she needs to start paying her bills because, you know, uh, you got to make a living and you got to pay your bills. So she's maybe still doing her job, but can't support herself in Dash quite yet. And then there's, on the other hand, we have Matt, the masternode owner and operator. And he is, let's say he's been doing this masternode operating for 5 or 6 months now. He gets maybe 20 proposals a month that he has to review, and he's getting a little tired of it because maybe it just takes a long time to review all of these things, and so maybe he just hangs out to the end of the month and sees what other masternode owners are voting on, sees the discussions that are happening, and maybe he just has stopped voting altogether because it's just too overwhelming, and he just like to kind of sit on the dividends that come to him. So I'm familiar with both of these roles, um, and I kind of have an understanding of the challenges that both of these people, both of these Dash enthusiasts face. So to put some numbers on it, um, Connie, the contributor, just the community contributor that's volunteering essentially, let's call her a contractor. Because maybe at some point she wants to actually do something for the network and be one of the treasury contractors. So she considers this, but she considers that each proposal to submit the proposal is going to cost, let's just use some round numbers. So let's assume that we're at $100 per Dash, and it takes 5 Dash to submit a proposal. So that's going to be $500 that she's going to have to spend. Plus, it's going to take her probably 10 hours to prepare this proposal, at least for her first proposal. And any decent proposal will probably take at least 10 hours to think about, plan for, write, and then actually do the proposal on the network, and then field comments, resolve concerns that people have, answer questions. So that's at least 10 hours probably. And let's say that she values her time at $25 an hour. That would be $750 basically as her upfront cost to submit this proposal. And maybe the thing that she has in mind that she wants to do for the network isn't really worth that much, especially considering the risk that, it might not pass. And so what is she to do? Just continue kind of working, doing stuff spending a lot of time with Dash but not being compensated for it, or maybe she just decides that she's got to stop doing the Dash thing because she's got to focus on her normal life. And so let's look at the masternode operator now. So this guy, every proposal that comes his way that hits the network, he's got to take a look. If he's doing his job, if he's doing his job properly, he's going to take a look at this proposal, and that maybe Connie's, submitted or something, and he's going to maybe spend 15 minutes reading it, digesting it, thinking about it, asking questions. And let's say that he values his time at $40 an hour, which would be like, $80,000 a year salary. It's pretty reasonable that a masternode owner would value their time about that much. But it's not just that masternode that sees this proposal. It's actually probably at least 1,000 masternodes that are looking at this. We don't know how many masternode owners there are, but there are 4,000 masternodes, and I think there are at least 1,000 masternode operators on Dash Central. So it's probably pretty reasonable to say that 1,000 masternode operators might be looking at this proposal. So if you do the math here, each proposal that hits the network costs the masternode network $10,000 worth of time to consider this proposal. And if we go back up to Connie, she's spending $750, and the masternode owner, along with all of his other masternodes, are spending $10,000. So there's kind of a mismatch of value there. It would probably make a lot of sense for some of these smaller proposals to not actually hit the network. They want to do work, but we don't want to have to hit the masternode network in order to do these things. So the whole idea of this, the whole motivation behind this proposal, is to justify community members to continue contributing whatever they're doing. Maybe they're writing little software packages or little websites that have to do with Dash, or maybe just, they have some friends that own a shop that want to integrate Dash, but, she doesn't have time to do that. So, maybe she wants to put a proposal out, but, we've already seen the numbers on that. So this proposal would justify community contributors to keep doing what they're doing by compensating them for it, if it's valuable, if the work that they do is actually valuable to the network. And it will also offload small projects like, Connie's projects from the masternodes. They don't really have to see it. They just, we'll get into the details of what the alternative is. And in the end, this will promote decentralization, this proposal. And I'll get into some of the details about that, why that would work in following slides. And another benefit would be that this could also prepare some people for potentially being part of the core team. So I'll get into that a little bit later as well. So I like to bring the bottom line up to the top line in some of these circumstances. So the scope of this project, the schedule, and the budget. Those are the three things that I think every proposal should have. That's a minimum for a decent proposal. So this is the summary of those three things. So the scope of this project is to fund small-scale projects with compelling off-treasury proposals. And the schedule would be like a 2-month charter, maybe, to begin with, to test out this pilot program, where we would have 3 1-month subcontract charters. And I'll get into a little bit of what that means, but that's the overview of what this would entail, is a 2-month proposal with some subcontracting. The budget, again, these are all just kind of hypothetical numbers at this point. They can be discussed and adjusted, but 30 Dash per month for 2 months. So that would be a total of 60 Dash for the project. So the scope, to get into a little bit more detail, would involve a group, let's call them the administrators of this project. They would vet and fund several small, low-risk projects, such as meetup groups or community-driven coding projects, etc. Um, so these projects would be funded and have their own separate scopes of work, which would be proposed to the administrators of this program. So instead of these three contractors sending proposals to the network, they're sending proposals to the administrators of this little project, and then they would evaluate them. So that would essentially offload three potential projects that might potentially go to the masternodes, and they would be vetted through this subcontracting relationship. So examples of this would be like ongoing meetups. There's a few of those on the proposal docket right now. Video tutorials, regular blogs and vlogs and podcasts or small software projects, merchant onboarding, and as I look at this month's budget proposal, I see 9 such proposals that could fall into this category. So I'm just going to go over here real quick to the Dash budget proposals, and I'll hit refresh to get the latest data. And I won't identify all these, but you can kind of see that we have like this Bitcooners meetup proposal for 16 Dash. Here's one for 20 Dash that's also a meetup. Here's one for 25 Dash. I looked at that, but it has something, I don't remember what that is exactly, but it's only 25 Dash. Here's a video series that's 25 Dash as well. These are all passing. These are all obviously good projects, but we looked at those numbers again, and each one of these proposals is costing the network $10,000 to evaluate. I mean, those are rough numbers, but that's kind of the idea. And there's some more that aren't passing that, maybe you get the idea. There's a lot of little projects here, 25 Dash here, 20 Dash here. And yeah, I counted 9 of those that might fall under this kind of a situation. So what would be the deliverables of such a project? So we have the admin of this program. They would send out a request for proposals, a request for off-treasury proposals. And the details of that could be worked out. Then they would evaluate proposals that come in that these proposals would send a scope, a schedule, and a budget of what they wanted to do. And then they would have their own deliverables with those scopes and schedules and budgets. And after they completed those, we would choose 3, we meaning anybody that we decide would be an appropriate administrator for this. And then another deliverable for the administrators would be proof that these people were paid. Seems self-explanatory. And then they would send from the little deliverables of all these projects that, 3 in this example, they would send the deliverables, wrap them up into a little project of their own, and report back to the masternodes and the community itself about what was accomplished with this funding. So that's the deliverables. So the schedule, again, 2-month trial period. A request for proposals would kick this off. 3 proposals would then be approved to commence work, and admin deliverables, they're spelled out. It's very clear what we're doing there. But the deliverables for the subcontractors obviously are not spelled out yet because the proposals haven't been submitted yet. This whole idea hasn't been submitted yet, but just discussion so far. So if I just ran these dates to show if the project was submitted this month, which it's probably too late to do that now, but if I upload this reasonably soon, then at least masternode owners have an option. But this is how this project would look if it was uploaded today and evaluated for this month. So the super block is happening on April 5th, which it's now March 29th, so just like 6 days or so right now left in this proposal cycle. So if it were approved, which again, probably not going to be shooting for this month, but maybe potentially next month's, a couple days after it was approved, we'd send out an RFP, and we'd give people maybe a week to send proposals in, and after that we would approve. We would look at these proposals and approve however many we want to evaluate, so 3 in this example, and then a week after that, so the administrators approve subcontracts and commence work, and then they would work for like 4 weeks, a month, doing whatever they submitted that they were going to do. And the subcontractors would then report to the administrators with complete scopes of work and completed deliverables. And then the administrators would, on the 26th in this example, report to the masternode owners and the community in general. And then it could be, obviously, this could be, renewed if it's successful. So the budget, we've kind of covered this already. 30 dash per month, 2 months, total of 60. This would cover subcontractors, 3 subcontractors. I'm just saying 10 dash each for right now, a nice easy number. The admin would also have some expenses and maybe some service fees like meetup fees. And I put this in here, this slides.com. This is the software that I'm using to do this presentation. It's pretty slick. You can do live presentations and people can follow along with it. It's got a lot of bells and whistles, but there's a premium package that we could pay for if we wanted to. And then some contingency, and then proposal reimbursement. So just putting some numbers on those in this table here. You can take a look at that on your own time, I guess. And let's see what else. So yeah, basically that's it. This is just to summarize the idea here. It would introduce formal subcontracting to have off treasury projects happening so that they don't have to take a lot of time evaluating. And I think that this would serve everybody involved. The people that are doing this work could continue doing their work because they would be funded, even if it's just a small stipend, not really on a salary level or anything like that. It would help the masternode owners because they would see fewer proposals, and they would have to evaluate fewer proposals. They just have to evaluate the effectiveness of this administrator. And there could be many. There could be several different administrators doing this exact same thing, and masternode owners could just keep giving money or give more money to the successful ones, and eventually fire the not successful ones. So power's in their hands. That's great. And as a community, the community as a whole, I think that this would help the community as a whole because it would increase the decentralization. So it would tend more towards decentralization because right now, I think what we have is we have people who want to work for Dash, who want to do projects for Dash, but if you can't get compensation, then you just don't really do it as much as you could. And then you maybe could apply to be a core developer, on the core development team, but that's kind of a binary switch, right? It's either you're working or you're not working for core. But I think that there's a lot of people that are in between there, people like me. So if you guys know me, and I don't know if I actually introduced myself, but I'm Ryan, R-I-O-N, on Slack and on the Dash forum, and I'm on Reddit as well. So I have done a couple proposals in the past already. So you've probably seen some of them. I'll go through these. You've seen probably a couple of my proposals. One was funding the Dash Community GitHub organization. So I did a bunch of work there and built an infrastructure essentially to have community developers come together. And there was some work with the blog that is still in the works, and I can maybe discuss that. But actually, I have a slide here that is showing some final thoughts on this proposal that I did want to address before I close this out. And sorry, this is a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but hopefully it's not too long. You can watch me at 1.5x. That's what I always do with videos. People talk slower than I'd like them to. But anyway, this proposal is just an idea. Definitely not trying to push it through this month, but I did want to give Masternode owners the opportunity to think about it this month because there's a lot of funding left this month. And if there was support for something like this, then I would be happy to submit this proposal, even if I thought it might fail, but probably only if, there was some good feedback. And I do not have to, I would be happy to have somebody else act as escrow for this. So if somebody else wants to give me their Dash address, somebody trusted in the community wants to give me their Dash address, I'd be happy to put that one in as the payout address when I submit the proposal. And they could, be running the show. And as far as I'm concerned, anybody could administer this. It doesn't have to be me. I would be happy to if people wanted me to, or it could gather a group of Masternode owners to act as the administrators of this, basically deciding where the funds would go, which subcontractors would get some of these funds. It's not something I actually really want to do. I just want something like this in place because I would like to, as somebody who's really interested in working for Dash, but would rather work for the community. I guess I'd be happy to work for Core as well, but I think this is an avenue to have community development supported as well. So I would like to just be somebody who could send a proposal to something like this. So if you're watching this, I've already done this, but my plan is to submit this to the Dash forum and just get some general feedback on the idea. And I will have a little poll there that if you want me to submit this month, just check that box and I will consider that. If you want me to submit this next month, I will have an option for that in the poll. And if you're just not interested in something like this, which would be totally fine, then just check not interested, and based on that feedback, I will, submit it this month or next month or never. So thank you for your time, and I will see you with my friend Rachel down in Arizona for all of you that are going to be there.